So essentially, this How to Cop guide will be somewhat interesting in comparison to what you're used to. There are two different routes Union can potentially take. I'm pretty confident I know exactly what Union is up to. It's pretty clever, but I'll break both routes down for you guys just in case to prepare you guys either way. All I'll say is Union isn't so slick. Ladies and gentlemen, today we will be discussing the Jordan 4 Union, as well as the rest of the Union Jordan collection and how to exploit the drop. Specifically, we will be discussing some release info, how to cop, and today's video will specifically be focusing on the Union website itself for the Union release, considering I genuinely feel that it's very extensive and it does deserve a video entirely to itself, and you'll see why. And of course, to end off the video, some resale predictions like always. Jordan 4s and the rest of the Union collaboration will drop on UnionJordanLA.com on August 29th. However, you will see that they won't release quite everywhere on the same date. You'll see what I mean soon enough. The only ones that will release only on the Union website will be both pairs of the Guava Ice. The retail of the Jordan 4s will be $250 and the retail of the Jordan Deltas will be $160. Regarding resale, we will cover that towards the end of the video as always, and a quick shout out for the sponsor of today's video, a company that has saved me loads of time and effort selling items and even my taxes, Resell Analytics. You could use my link in the description to get your first month free and try it out. We'll discuss more about that later in the video, but for now, with the release info out of the way, let's jump into how to cop these. Let's talk about how you could exploit this drop to the fullest extent. So essentially, this How to Cop guide will be somewhat interesting in comparison to what you're used to. There are two different routes Union can potentially take. I'm pretty confident I know exactly what Union is up to. It's pretty clever, but I'll break both routes down for you guys just in case to prepare you guys either way. All I'll say is Union isn't so slick. Specifically, I feel that they intentionally gave us a little too much information on their website. These are just my personal notions, of course, and they solely derive from my anecdotal experience back from the 2018 drop on the Jordan 1s. Those of you who recall the legendary Union live stream in 2018 I hosted, you may recall what Union did that was pretty sneaky, and we'll jump into that. In life, patterns tend to repeat themselves, and that is why I expect Union to be baiting us in this type of way. So let's jump into it and let's explain why it's so important. To help you better comprehend what I'm talking about, let's first take a little trip back to 2018. Aside from the chaos during the drop, let's not forget what they did before the drop. They intentionally left the Jordan 1 Unions loaded on the front end prior to putting up the password page. We all made a rational assumption here that the links would remain the same and the variants would remain the same. Hence, everyone who ran tasks on this drop was running those links. Anyone who went manual was on those links, refreshing those links, including myself. But they added new products for the shoes with different links and different variants. If you do remember, I had to tweet out new links for everyone, and while discussing Twitter too, feel free to follow my Twitter for any small updates for urgent information. Keith Adam 10. I will keep you guys updated for anything of this nature, any hype shoes, and of course, subscribe and enable post notifications to stay updated on any profitable sneaker. Anyway, if you take a look at the products on the website now, they have loaded variants for them. I have already given you my hypothesis on their strategy, but regardless, I'm going to show you how you could exploit this drop manually, hypothetically, if they don't add new product, but overall I will be showing you both routes regardless. First, I'll preface this by saying this is not low-key, this is not secretive, and you certainly don't need to code a scraper to get these. Any bozo can do this with access to the internet. Let me show you how you can as well. Go to the product page, right-click, select View Page Source. Then all you're going to want to do is look for the size variants. You could do this in multiple ways, but the easiest way I find is to use Control F or Command F on Mac and just search for a size. For example, size 7.5. Scroll down to that one and you will see the variants. All you're going to want to do is copy the variant, then add it into this specific link format. The domain, the website, then /cart/variant, :1. Then once you have this, you could copy this and create bookmarks out of it. So when it does go live, you can make plenty of them in advance for you to click them in your notes in a Google Doc, or you could even make bookmarks out of them like you said, including for the clothing and the Delta as well. And if you ask me, I personally think it is very, very possible that they may not change the variants for the clothing. I've already stated my hypothesis for what I think they're going to be doing for the Jordans. I suppose their strategy is to get botters to run the link in variants rather than run keywords, because hypothetically in that case, if they were to run keywords, they would pick up the product successfully, making it more difficult for manual users. However, on the other end, if they were to run the variants and the link and they were to load a new product, they would just be running dead variants and dead links, and it would take botters a couple of seconds at least to make adjustments, which would give manual users a significant advantage, especially with a checkpoint now. It's clever bait, I guess, to leave it up. I'm sure people who weren't around in 2018, in this game at least, they certainly don't know what happened back in 2018, but your friend Keith just happens to remember. But anyway, while on the topic of botting, if anyone does need reliable, fast proxies, I do suggest following Kip Proxies. I will tweet out on that account for any restocks, discounts, giveaways, etc. for any of the 4 proxy providers. But anyway, let's continue moving on. That method will be used hypothetically if they don't upload a new product, that little exploit I showed you guys, and you could also use that for multiple other drops that will actually drop, such as Shop Nice Kicks. Shop Nice Kicks always loads on front end, and you can make add to cart links this way before any drops. So at the very least, if you can't use this exploit now, you could certainly use it on other drops. So it's certainly something to keep note of and something to use for future drops. But anyway, again, I stated what I feel, that they're not going to take that route, but either way is possible. So let me prepare you for the route that I do personally believe they will take. So again, expect the password page to be up with a countdown before the drop, likely sometime in the next few days. When they do put this page up, there will be no early links, there will be no variants, since you can't scrape the site if a password page is up, and regardless if the password page was up or not, most Shopify sites, at least the good Shopify sites, don't even load early anyway. So this does mean that your #1 way to cop, above all, will be through a Shopify monitor if you are manual, or even if you're botting just to mass link change or to quick tasks. Speaking of monitors, feel free to follow Endurance's Twitter for any updates on potential restocks. I always post them 5 seconds earlier than when I do on my main account there, so again, feel free to give it a follow over there. If you do have access to a monitor, you'll want to use the add to cart links for the most efficient checkout. If you don't, I suggest downloading the Soul Links or J23 apps. Those are pretty good backup links. They normally send out notifications relatively fast, so you just won't have the add to cart links, and there will be a slight delay considering they do have to copy it from whatever monitors they do rent. But anyway, aside from that, here are some additional tips to go along with this method. Since it is a countdown, a time drop for these at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, make a bookmark for the domain and spam that 10 seconds before 12 p.m. Eastern Time to get through efficiently. So essentially, you just want to keep on clicking that bookmark over and over again. And to be honest, you really don't even need the apps I mentioned regarding Soul Links and J23, considering you could just do this and, get to it yourself. As long as your reflexes aren't similar to that of a turtle, I think you'd be okay this way. Especially because this means you'd be able to use it on desktop rather than on mobile, getting notifications through the apps. But of course, you could also use Twitter for that, I suppose. But anyway, my essential point here is that you don't need any other resources. You could literally just refresh the website, and it is still going to be possible manually, and I'll explain why. I would suggest that you are also signed into a Gmail account that is fairly active to ensure that you don't get any of those terrible fading captchas. I would certainly expect them to use a checkpoint, assuming they're not complete bozos. This will also mean that manual users should have a really good chance to cop. So don't blame bots, honestly, if you're not able to cop. Blame supply and demand, because that's the truth of it. It's all about who could solve the captchas most efficiently. Obviously, a bot will be able to cart and find the product faster, but it's only a slight advantage, nothing too significant. I really do feel that if you are fast enough, you could compete with that manually to be able to get at least one pair. Really all about how fast you could solve the captchas. Finally, set up autofill on Google Chrome as well. If you do have an autofill tool or extension, I would highly suggest taking advantage of that. If you have the autofill tool and you also have a Shopify monitor and you're going manual, that is probably as good as it gets. Anyway, that is my personal hypothesis. These are just my notions, but just in case I am wrong, I provided you with how to exploit the drop either way. In case they do keep those same variants the same, I taught you guys how to make the add to cart links, and this goes for other sites as well. So either way, I have you guys prepared. For any further updates on these or any hype shoes in general, remember, subscribe and enable post notifications to stay updated, and also follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10. Now, before we jump into the resale, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Resell Analytics. Resell Analytics is your all-in-one solution to track your reselling career. You could easily integrate large third-party marketplaces, view analytics, and tons more, of course, which I'll show you. You could use my link in the description to get your first month completely free to try it out. So, right here, as you can see, you have your dashboard. This is where you could see your overview of your entire reselling career right on the screen. Now, what's so incredible about this, in my personal opinion, is how easy it is to track your profit and expenses. Personally, being able to import all my sales straight from StockX and go easily calculate all my taxes at the end of the year is absolutely life-saving. This It used to take me a solid 9 hours to do. You can do this through their link syncing feature. It's super easy. You can easily link and sync your StockX and GOAT accounts. First, you just add the Chrome or Firefox extension, then visit StockX or GOAT. Then you can link your third-party account with Resell Analytics. Go to settings, hit sync account, and all of your current listings, all of your current sales and prior sales will be on your account just like that. It's that easy. I'm telling you guys, this saves me a ton of time during taxes. If you are a serious reseller, you do sell a lot of product, this is a tool I would highly recommend. It's something that I guarantee will be a huge lifesaver for you. My favorite part personally is being able to see the sales tab. Not only does it keep you motivated to keep goals as a reseller, but again, like I've been mentioning, most important, this thing is saving me over a day's worth of labor for calculating my taxes over the entire year. Literally a lifesaver for any big reseller like myself, and it's even annoying to keep track of sales every single day trying to upload them to Google Sheets or anything like that. With this, it's as simple as exporting them from StockX or GOAT. And also, if you use any other platforms, you can feel free to add those individually as well. It's that simple. Another thing I really like about this is the expenses page, where you could essentially manage and track all your expenses as a reseller, whether it's shipping costs, proxies, bots, or even membership fees. And yes, that does mean you could add recurring expenses too. Calculates it all automatically for you. I'm only scratching the surface with the details here. I don't want to keep you guys too busy because again, we do have a video to get through, but anyway, the link is in the description. It's completely free to try out, so why the heck not? But anyway, with that out of the way, regarding resale predictions, I do feel this is a pretty obvious one for you guys for the most part, but to make it truly clear, in case anybody was skeptical, due to the retailer being $250 rather than $190, oh, what a big $60 difference on these, right? But anyway, these fours will be extremely profitable with a great margin as well. Although I do not see these being as profitable as the Jordan 1s were initially. However, they still will hold a very good margin, and the same exact thing goes for the Jordan Delta. All four sneakers are worth going for, so don't hesitate. When it comes to the Guava pairs, you should definitely expect the highest resale on those, considering those are exclusive to Union, but regardless, again, all of them will be profitable. You should be going for all of them without hesitation. They should also be a solid hold as well, so feel free to consider that. Feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy the video or you perhaps learned a thing or two. Also subscribe and enable post notifications to stay 100% updated. And remember, if you guys do need proxies, feel free to follow Kip Proxies on Twitter. And last but not least, for your free trial of Resell Analytics, use my link in the description below. With that, I'll see you guys later though. Enjoy the rest of your day.